What are you proposing to the world?
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell these teams, let me show you the way to play defense. There's a certain code that I feel like I cracked throughout my career. That there's a way to train and prepare our bodies to perform out there on the field. And I'm not even talking about lifting or what you're doing in the off season. More of like how we do drills and shag and batting practice and the way we throw, like having mental intent to elevate our game and take that next level. Like it's never been demanded of us. When I played for 15 years, and I said if I ever had like the authority or the keys or the reins to show guys the way to do this to maximize our potential. And if I was ever in that position when I retire, I want to do that. And so here I am trying to be creative with it and trying to help these young guys. I was one of the best ever to do it, playing my position from a defensive standpoint. And it's one of those things like, why would you not want to hear what I have to say? I played it very well, but I can coach it very well at a high level as well. And I'm as confident with my defensive approach and all that is anything in life.
And it is a skill to not only be able to do it well, but to coach it well. Not everyone can do both, but Ryan Bass, friend of the program here, tweeted out that you have been working with Chandler Simpson, a young outfielder in the Rays organization. So, what specifically have you been working on him with, and what have you seen from him that makes you believe that he can be a big time contributor for Tampa?
Yeah, he's a man. He's a great guy. Great attitude. Wants to get better. And for me, I just want to be around guys who are motivated and want to like elevate their game. And for him, just for the folks out there who don't know, he's the fastest man in baseball. I mean, he absolutely flies, steals all these bases, and he is electric when he gets on the bases. So for him, though, it's about translating his speed on the defensive side a little bit better because it plays offensively. But now we're trying to maximize everything out there defensively, but just trying to switch his mindset. Like, hey, I know you've been here your whole life, but I want you to want to get better in this area as well. You're already doing amazing things offensively and on the bases, but if we can make you an above average defender, you just help yourself and your team, and you look so appealing to everybody when you're, I mean, that complete player. And for him, just trying to get his arms stronger, the way we do everything defensively, A to Z. It's one of those things I'm trying to break it down in like small little attention to detail is the big factor with guys like him who are so raw and have so much talent, who haven't really played out there a whole lot. He played infield for his whole life and been the outfield for a few years now. So just trying to take him through scenarios and prepare him and train him where we develop confidence and like a swagger out there where it's like, hey, when I got this glove on, I'm a bad man out here too. So just trying to positive reinforcement, but just show them the way that needs to be done.
You know the Rays incredibly well from your time with the organization. Tough few years, haven't made the playoffs since 2023. What do they need to do in your mind to be able to crack the code and break through in the AL East this year?
They need to stay healthy. That's one thing they've always battled, even when I was there all them years. And every team goes through that. But having Shane McClanahan back in that rotation from start to finish, hopefully he can have a great bounce back year after not being here the last 2 years. But he is amazing, one of the most dominant pitchers I've ever played behind. So a healthy him will make them that much better. A couple free agent pickups like right there, Cedric Mullins, a lot of guys who are trying to bounce back and show that they're the players that they were not too long ago type of thing. But the AL East, it's going to be a beast once again. It's the best division in baseball once again. It's not going to be easy, but they got all the players to do it. I mean, Junior Caminero, Yandy Diaz, one of the best hitters I've ever seen. He's top 3 best ever right there. He's Mr. Consistent and always provides. So they got speed, power, guys who can hit, get on base, and create havoc. But for them, it's just going to come down to execution and competing at a high level throughout the course of 162 games. And that's why we show up and play.
You mentioned the AL East. That division is deep. It is competitive. It was, I think, the most fun division to watch in baseball this past season. You spent some time with the Blue Jays as well, and they were right there. They were knocking on the door of a championship. Just a couple plays here and there fall their way, and maybe be talking about them as reigning World Series champions. What does that team need to do to get right back in championship contention?
Yeah, same with them. They need to stay healthy. I mean, they had a huge offseason with some great pickups. But for them, like the year George Springer had last year, Vladdy's postseason, Ernie Clement, they have so many guys who can hurt you in so many ways. And their pitching, I mean, their rotation is nasty. Bullpen got plenty of nasty guys down there as well. So they're going to be able to pitch, play defense, and hit plenty. So it's just about staying the course and coming to compete just as they did last year. So once again, the AL East, man, it's going to be so much fun watching. Every team's going for it. I mean, Yankees had a great offseason as well, with some big pickups, but that's the beauty of this division. You never get any easy matchups, any games. And that's why it's so fun to follow throughout the whole year, because there's so many ups and downs and people going first to second to third and kind of rotating. But boy, there's a lot of money in that division, a lot of talent, and it's going to be fun to watch.
What to me though, Kevin, it's always weird because the season's already such a marathon, right? So if you're the Blue Jays, you went through all this extra time. Now you got to get your body right, and you got to do the training things in the offseason. You're dealing with less time to do it. I realize nobody's crying for him, but I understand that. And you've got to deal with the emotions of coming off of losing the World Series that way. How hard is it for everybody in that organization to reset and even find a way to give a damn about spring training when you just went through what you went through in October?
Yeah, well, I promise you, people give a damn. They care, and I mean, it's so true. It gives you so much more extra motivation in the off season. You hear like the cliche stuff about that over and over, but it's how do you not think of it type of thing when you're working out or hitting or doing whatever you do. So I know them guys are motivated and ready to go and say, hey, like this wasn't a fluke. We're going to try to do the same thing this year, and we expect to be one of the best teams in baseball. So when you already have man 1 through 26 in the room already on the same page, you're like, hey, we accomplished a lot last year, but we're focused on this year and we want to do this again. We want to win it this time type of thing. We're very happy to be one of the last two teams standing, but we're not content with that. We want to have a World Series parade just like all the other 29 teams out there. But Toronto, a team who on paper is amazing, but once again, it comes down to execution, and if they can stay healthy and play to their potential, then they should be right back in the playoffs. But baseball doesn't work like that, so they got to go earn it, and it's not going to be an easy task. It's hard to win, man. It's hard to get that far and be that final team, and Dodgers were that team once again, and we'll see if someone can dethrone them from them being at the top.
Let's stick on that for a moment, because that's been, I think, the number one story of this offseason is the rich only get richer. The Dodgers can get every big money free agent. The Dodgers can outbid everyone. The Dodgers are ruining baseball. What do you say to people who think that, who do believe the Dodgers are ruining baseball?
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree. I love I mean, this is a business, and they are thriving, and they found a way. Even when I went there a couple years ago and I got traded there, like everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, you got to pay Ohtani $700 million and do this or that." Or they're sitting here thinking, like, people think that we're hurting because of that. Like, we've already made so much money because of him, and now we get him for the next 12 years, where it's like kind of like house money in a way. But everyone there, the method to the madness and the way they can give out these big salaries and do things. They're just trying to put a great competitive team out there on the field, and all their years of being successful has allowed them to do this in today's world. And they're not breaking any rules. It's just, hey, we're gonna pay a lot. We're gonna do the luxury tax, whatever, but we're gonna still be in the green, and we're gonna come out on top. And we care about winning, and that's what you wish most teams would do. And there's a lot of other teams who are not spending like that, but trying to, winning is the focal point. And there's a lot of teams out there who already kind of know what it's going to be this year. And go out there and do what you can. But I want, all the players and everyone wants to say, hey, like, spend money, do this, that, but let's make it competitive and let's make it as fun as possible. Like, we're competing at a high level and doing what we got to do to put out a great team. And other teams could do the same. It's just the level. Do teams want to do that? Right now or the last however many years, no one wants it as bad as the Dodgers. And once again, they're doing everything that other teams could do. So it's not unfair. It's anything is possible, and they've definitely cracked the code, and they've found a great system to bring in great players and win.
I mean, good or bad, right or wrong, much of this season's conversation isn't going to be about this season. It's going to be about whether or not there's going to be baseball next season. How much are players thinking about next year right now?
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to stay in my lane on that because now that I'm retired and removed, I'm not a part of the emails or the calls anymore. So, and I got 3 kids at home, so I'm not talking to the guys enough to know like what's real and what's not. But I know there's chatter about it, and just from like all the media and everyone, it definitely seems like a possibility. And I know no player wants to sit out by any means, and you gotta stand your ground. And I mean, this is the business side that can get very ugly, but guys do not want to waste the year or miss out. I know the owners don't as well, but hopefully they can come to an agreement and figure some stuff out because a year without baseball would just not be good on so many different levels. But once again, this is the business side of the game, and it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. But guys are going to sit here and focus on 2026. But once October comes around and you're sitting here thinking like, man, what is the thrill of the unknown is it's a thing. So 6-7 months from now going to be very interesting to see what the chatter's about.
I mean, look, selfishly, I just am gonna be bored in 2027 if we
Yeah.
don't have baseball. So, like, I want players to play, I want everyone to get paid, but I also want to go to baseball games in 2027. I want a social calendar.
Exactly.
And as we look ahead to spring training in this upcoming season, what are some names of some guys that we can keep a lookout for that remind you of your style of play, that remind you of you?
Oh man, off the top of the head, this guy named I was a great defender and very average, maybe slightly below average offensive player. But guys, we're just gonna say more glove dominant. A guy named Victor Scott for the Cardinals, nasty center fielder. I haven't watched him a ton, but he is incredible. I was going to say Pete Crow Armstrong because what he does defensively is incredible, but how he played offensively last year, he has put him in that upper echelon category. Denzel Clark from the Las Vegas A's or
Sacramento A's for now, but
wherever they are.
I didn't mean to do that. Denzel Clark, some of the catches he made last year were incredible. This guy named Jacob Young for the Nationals is tremendous as well, climbing the walls, doing all sorts of stuff. So I try to tell guys, hey man, you can play a long time if you are a professional and handle yourself and can go play some defense out there because pitching is so nasty now. Where I'm like, hey, defense is going to be valued more and more every year because everyone's throwing 100 and spinning the ball like crazy, doing all sorts of stuff. So if you can play defense and that can never slump and you can have a good arm and go get them, then learn from me. You can make a career in it and just got to compete your butt off and just do what you got to do offensively to try to compete against all these nasty guys. But defense matters, and I'm very biased towards that.
Okay, so look back at your playing career. Who were some of the teammates that you had that really pushed you towards that mindset of defense matters?
It was me more than anything, to be honest, because I knew what I had to do, and it wasn't like I had teammates saying, "Hey, man, you got to do this or that." Like for me, I was always a great defender coming up, and I just felt like I was the best, even in the minor leagues. And I'm like, man, I just got to get to the big leagues to show everybody what I can do. But for me, it was like, hey, we got to sit here and hit and become the offensive player that we're trying to be because I can play defense and run the bases with anyone, but you got to be able to hit and go up there and compete day in, day out. So that's once again, I knew what I had to do, and I found an obsession with it where I'm like, man, I'm not the best offensive player, but I truly think I'm the best defensive player, and I control that reputation. I control if I feel like other guys are better than me. So I just tried being elite at every possible thing, going in, back, left, right, my arm strength, arm accuracy, like everything I wanted to be the best at. And I took offense to it when other people thought they were better than me or could do more things than me. But that was like the chip I had on my shoulder and the competitive drive that allowed me to have the success that I did. But you got to be like a psycho or obsessed, and like you got to be messed up to be good in baseball in so many ways. And I definitely like cross off all the messed up things, but just like my ADHD and way that I just was always, I could never turn it off, and I was just always doing stuff throughout all off season, during the season, to try to stay like athletic as I could, where I'm like, I don't want anyone to catch up to me, or I want to be in this elite category for as long as I can.